Welcome to Embracing Infinity, exploring the infinite oneness in the space of love and truth. Host Jennifer Rose is an international spiritual medium, healer, channeler, mentor, and transformational guide. Her focus is encouraging individuals to know themselves within the lens of their divine heart and highest potential, to evolve within the frequency of love and peaceful harmony. Now, here's your host, Jennifer Rose.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Embracing Infinity on the Sacred Spiral Network. Happy Friday, happy weekend, happy summer to you all. I hope everybody is doing well. Thank you all for your patience. Good to see that all of our friends have joined us and are joining us now as well. So I look forward to saying hi to y'all in just a minute too. Um, a little housekeeping just to get out of the way before I have my special guest, Michael Zinn, the super creative professional, host of Holding Space and Live Stream of Consciousness on. Very, very excited. I have just a couple quick announcements. If you all wouldn't mind at some point clicking the reaction button, hearting our video and while you're in the feed now, later, at some point, we really appreciate it. If you feel that this would be shareable to a friend or a group or a tag, so much appreciated. If you would give Mr. Michael Zinn a follow over on his page, The Live Stream of Consciousness, he would be most appreciative as well as Kelly Brickle and the Sacred Spiral Network and myself. And feel free to subscribe if you're over on YouTube as well. So we greatly appreciate all of the support. And this does help us to keep growing and expand our community, which is all about love and expansion and togetherness. So thank you, thank you, thank you for all of that too. In addition to today's live, Kelly Brickle is going on live. She just got back from New York and just had a fabulous birthday. And she will be going live at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, 10:30 in the UK with Miss Donna Bond as her special guest. So a little quick lunch break or dinner break, and then please head back on over to see Kelly. So that will be super exciting. And then tomorrow, two shows as well. So it's a two and a two. We have Messages from the Enchanted Realms with myself and medium Shannon Rate, excuse me, and medium Lynn Juno is our special guest. She's filling in for Fran, who's off for the weekend. Very Fran, we like to call her too. And so we do literally Messages from the Enchanted Realms, from the angels, from the fairies, loved ones count too, of course, because they're quite enchanting. Dragons, whoever wants to show up, but it's always magical. It's always uplifting. It's always fun. So please do join us for that. And then, very quick coffee break. Shannon Rate will be coming back to host her first debut show, Guided Life, where she's teaching people and helping people to connect with their guides and their angels. So that is very special, very magical. And we're so excited for her and giving her a big shout out and congratulations. So, two fun shows tomorrow as well, too. So, please don't miss it and join us because it will be very special. And we promise to leave you with a smile and feeling uplifted. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that. Let me take a quick break. I want to say hi to everybody here. So hi, Tony. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Patrick. Thank you for sharing. Good to see you. New Zealand, that's so cool. I love how we're so international. That means the world to me too. And hi, Evelyn. How are you? Good to see you. Kim Princess is here as well. Good to see you. Thank you all for joining us. Hi, Naomi. Hello, hello. Kelly's going to help me get caught up with everybody. I know, Evelyn, that's okay. But you are on YouTube over on Sacred Spiral, so it's all on there. So then that will help a lot too. So Natasha, hello. Hi from Ireland. Thanks for joining us. We have quite the international team here today. So I see Jeffrey has joined us as well. Good to see you. Hi, Colette. Good to see you too. Let me see. I said hi to you, Arnie, right? I just want to make sure. Hi, Arnie. Good to see you again if I forgot. Hi, Jennifer. Hello, beautiful girl. How are you doing? Great to see you. I think we're getting all caught up too. I see Jack Handles in the house. Good to see you too. Hello, hello. Okay, I think, do we get caught up? I think yay. Thank you, Jennifer. That's awesome. Allison's just joined us as well from the UK. Hi, Allison. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. And Bravna, hello for Germany. Well, we are really multinational here today. This is wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Hi, Tony. Hi, Tony, Tony, Tony. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Hi, Pamela. There's Miss Lynn Juno. Can't wait to see you on Messages from the Enchanted Realms tomorrow, Lynn. We're very excited to have you as our guest. Lynn also has her own show on the Sacred Spiral Network that is called Kaleidoscope of the Soul. And the next show for that is going to be on August 29th. I think I've got that right, Lynn, 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 in the UK. Okay, and that's also on the Sacred Spiral Network. It's all there. Hi, Jill. Good to see you too, love, from Southern California. Good to see you. Hi, Holly from the UK. Good to see you. There's Bernadette has joined us. Hi, Bernadette. Thanks for coming. You always give us your support. We appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. I think we're all caught up. So be bringing in Michael in just a minute. And hi, Carrie. Thanks for joining us. Love the hair. And Alan, there you are. Thank you from Norway. I think we got almost every country in Europe here today. How exciting is that? Okay, beautiful friends. So I'll be bringing Michael on in just a couple of minutes. And I just wanted to expand a little bit on what I spoke about last week. So last week I was sharing just a little personal story about how I work with a trainer and how we do different kinds of workouts. And this was a metaphor for life. So, for instance, one day we practice strength, and then another day we practice endurance, which is really harder than strength for me, anyway. So pushes me to my point, and I ask to be pushed because, I want to get the maximum out of the time that I have too. And then sometimes we work on performance, which is a combination of the two. And these were really good metaphors for life of how we have all of our different experiences in the time. And when we're under those times of pressure where a lot is happening and we're really being kind of forced into a growth and learning and expansion and understanding, and how can painful and uncomfortable it can actually be sometimes, right? And so we spoke a little bit about this last week, and what I wanted to expand on just for a couple of minutes, because I wanted to give you guys sort of like a way to like apply this to your life if it might be helpful for you, because we're all kind of in the collective together, and we tend to be sharing a similar theme within the energies too. So hopefully that you'll understand this, and I try to make things in a way that people can understand them quite easily. Um, so one of the reasons why I started doing that was because I was trying to kind of like restore what had been lost. Like I hadn't been doing as much physical activity. So I had like lost some of my, muscle tone and things like that. And I wanted to start putting that back. And so that was like one of the reasons why I got started in that. And it was like, looking into summer, all of this, right? Hi, Charlene. Good to see you. And then it kind of moved into, I realized like this was a really good way to move energy as well too. So it was a good way of like processing emotions of things that I was working on within myself too. And so that made me even more motivated because it allowed me to kind of like get that energy moving, get it flowing, really get in touch with my body and my mental, emotional, and spiritual connection to it all. Hi, Fulham. And then it turned into or it kind of morphed into building. So it's kind of like a restoring, a processing, and a building, right? And so through life we have these kind of peaks and valleys. So we have things that we've kind of gained, we have things that we lose perceptively, yes, like perhaps we've lost loved ones, perhaps there's been other big life changes, right? Those are losses, those we have to grieve. So then we have to start putting things back in that space. We have to fill in the space. Hi, KB. So when there's been change, when we are going through transformation and we're letting things go, or things are being changed or taken out of our lives in the physical sense of how we are used to them, that space has to be filled with something. Therein lies our creative flow and our creative potential, which is why Michael is the perfect guest to have on today, right? See where I'm going with this, right? So we've got to fill in that space, but we also have to process the grief from the loss. And anything can be grief, even if we're happy about the change, even if we're happy about the transformation and we've been wanting it and we've been asking spirit for it too. There are parts of us that will grieve who we used to be, who we thought we were, and how we thought things were going to become, right? So that's all part of the process. And then we get to start building. We get to fill in the space, but not only that, we get to make it bigger and better and brighter. This is elevation. This is evolution. See where I'm going with this? And I've talked in the past about tower moments. You know, we have these big life paradigm shifts, right? The towers fall down and you're just like left in rubbles. You got to process that. Then you got to pick up the pieces and then you got to start to fill in the space. But once that tower is rebuilt, bigger, brighter, shinier, more sparkles. See where I'm going with that too, right? So that's why I was trying to use sort of my personal example as like a metaphor for life. And so, what I would like to invite you all to consider is that whatever you are working through in your life, like process it, start filling back in the space. Get in touch with the creative potential. This is really down in like the lower half of the body, and let that kind of like bubble up in through your heart. Allow your mind to be part of that process too. So you have this big, holistic, expansive flow that's coming out. Super creative, super awesome, because y'all got this, right? So, and then just keep moving forward and just say, yeah, don't worry, don't worry. I got this. And not only that, I'll make it even better. So, whatever we've gone through in life, if you have lost something, make it better. Find a way to turn it around. Find a way to bring beauty out of destruction or chaos or deep grief and loss. Because when you do that, then it gives it all meaning and purpose. And this is how you continue to grow and elevate and find purpose through it all and make meaning of it all. And then it's like, then you can be like, okay, then you can be okay with what happened and how it all turned out, and grateful for what you're becoming, because you're consistently um, um, evolving and becoming more of you, more of you, like that flower that just keeps getting higher and higher and higher and higher. So I hope that's helpful for you. I'm going to leave it at that because it's time to get Michael on. I want to thank you all for your comments too. I really appreciate it. I want to say hi. Looks like Tim has joined us. Thank you, Tim, for coming on in. Kit Minsky's joined us. Thank you for coming on in too. Good to see you all. Cheryl, want to say hi to you as well. Just giving myself a little squint as I get caught up here. And Carrie too. So thank you, thank you. And Alan. Okay, good. Kay Weezy's here too. Hi, Kay Weezy. Thanks for joining us. So with that, um, sorry, thought I saw a question there, but this is going to be more of a discussion show, but you're going to get a lot out of it. So I welcome you in for that too. So yes, let's get in the Zinn man, please, everybody. Let's welcome Michael Zinn.
Oh, wow. You're making me blush.
Hello, my friend.
Hello. So awesome. I got to tell you, I was thinking about this at the beginning of the show. It was bringing up, and I may be dating myself a little bit here, but the feeling of Romper Room when I was a kid. I don't know if you remember that show. But at the beginning, she would bring up this mirror, and it would open up to like a looking glass, and she would say, hello, Michael, hello, Jennifer. And she would say people's names. And even though it was pre-taped and it wasn't actual, it would connect you. It was a great concept, right? Because it would connect you to the show, right? You'd be, oh, I hope she says my name. You know what I mean? But now in this day and age, this is actually live. You're actually saying hello to the people who were there. And that energy is real energy, and the exchange is real. So I just want to say hello to an amazing full house, people with amazing love and energy, sending it our way. So we're just reflecting it back to you guys. It's an amazing thing what's going on here with the community, what you've done, everything you spoke about, the wisdom and the way I think that these conversations happen is just so important. I see so many people respond in the comments, oh yeah, I'm going through that now, or that resonates with me. And I think that's the key, right? That's the baseline of this all is we're all one, and this kind of stuff connects us and allows us all to kind of see through each other's eyes and feel through each other's hearts, and have compassion for each other, or have support for each other, words of love, words of wisdom, all of that stuff. It's amazing. So I'm honored to be here as a guest. amazed to be here as a guest actually for a second time. I never expected to be the host of a show, you know what I mean? So all of this is just a blessing. And I feel like what Todd was saying at the beginning, like the thing that ties it all together is this common mission of, it's easy, just love, just feel the love, just believe in the love, just be the love, right? It's that message that we all have, that makes this community. So thank you, thank the audience for all being here and bringing the love power.
Yes, definitely. Well said. Well said. That was awesome. Hi, Natasha. Hi, Jess. Hi, everyone who's joined us as well, too. And you know what's funny, Michael, is I checked in my memories, my Facebook memories. You were on exactly a year ago.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did,
Wow.
and that wasn't planned. So talk about
No
divine
coincidences.
synchronicity,
Yeah,
right?
there's no coincidences.
We had actually rescheduled this from a different day and it just ended up that way. So we're
Wow.
like, wow, good job, good job,
Yeah.
Spirit. Hi, Ava. Good
Amazing.
to see you.
Amazing. Yeah.
So, okay, my love, I'm going to read your a little bit more about you. So, just in case anybody's like just starting to get to know you or doesn't know all of the amazing things that you do. So, Mr. Michael Zinn, everybody, is a creative professional. Besides being a visual artist, graphic designer, and video producer, he also happens to be a musician and bass player. It seemed only natural to use the understanding and passion for music as well as photography and video to start shooting music videos and music related content, which eventually led to an interest in podcasts and live streaming. Quickly becoming immersed in a world of spirituality and meeting many talented beings of all sorts of metaphysical modalities, it was only a matter of time before Michael was pulled in front of the camera to co host and participate in conversations that would continue to change and elevate his life as well as his audiences. Michael's experience includes working on award winning feature films and independent short films, as well as live concert broadcasts, celebrity podcasts, and charity fundraisers. Michael's love for working with people to create content quickly becomes evident and has coached some incredible entrepreneurs on their journey. And if you didn't already know, he has two shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific and 2 a.m. the next day in the UK, holding space with the Sacred Spiral Network on Tuesdays and the live stream of consciousness on Thursdays. So you are part of the Sacred Spiral family, and
Yes.
we are all one big family together. So that is a wow, huh, Natasha? That's a lot.
Wow. Yeah.
Have
You
you
know what?
always been creative like that?
I think so. I think so. And thank you for that. Hearing that kind of read and like all put together in one place, it's like, it's really kind of my philosophy in life of gratitude, right? It's like, wow, let's look at all those cool things that I've got to be a part of. You know what I mean? And I think that's what part of what makes me who I am, is the gratitude for having been part of these things and being humble and just being like, okay, that's just something I did. And I'm grateful for having experienced it. I'm not really the kind of person who's like celebrity. I don't want to say worship, but like, celebrity only means so much to me, right? It's certainly there's a level of respect I have for people who have achieved a certain thing, but I think for me, success has never been about that, right? Success has never been about popularity and money and those kinds of things. Success has been about being in a moment and being in the moment, right? Like just being in the moment, like and knowing that you're in the moment and enjoying the moment. And I guess as I get older, knowing my role in that moment and what put me in that moment, right? And how to navigate that moment, how to enjoy that moment. That's been, I think, my goal. Excuse me. As I get older and older, it's like I want to suck up the most enjoyment I can out of each moment, whatever it is. And even I find myself doing that in adverse moments, things that when something's going wrong, I find myself looking for that light, right? And why is this happening? And it makes the other side of that adverse moment, like once I get through it, so much more rewarding, right? I'm just like, look, I had this adversity and I got through it, and and here I am. I'm still me. You know what I mean? It didn't take anything away from
Yeah.
me. You know what I mean? Um,
Bigger, better, bigger, better, brighter, more sparkles.
yeah,
So it's like
totally,
you just get through it, and you
totally.
you end up you
Yeah,
end up being bigger, brighter, better, more sparkles
yeah,
after that
yeah.
too. So
So,
you got compliments on your shirts, by the way, too. And I
oh,
also
thank
wanted to
you, thank you. I got
I also
all dressed
wanted
up for this. I got all dressed up.
yeah, me too.
Um, but to answer the question, have I always been creative?
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember as a kid, I had these little, again, dating myself, I had these little figurines called Smurfs. I don't know if you remember the Smurfs.
Oh yes,
And they
I
were
know the
so cool
Smurfs.
for a creative person. They were so cool because they were like all different personalities, right? You had a bowling Smurf,
Mm,
you had a baking Smurf, you had all of these different Smurfs to represent humans, I guess, you know, and the diversity of humans. And they were these awesome little cool little figurines. But I can remember as a kid on the front porch of the apartment complex that I was living at with my mom's Super 8 film camera, trying to do stop action animation, right? Filming the guy and then moving him a little, filming. And so, yeah, I think I've always had this knack for trying to create. I think probably visual is one that I started with, but as I got older, I got into music. You know, I started to see creation as everything. You know, writing is creation, dancing is creation, baking,
yes.
that cooking Smurf, that's creation. There's art in everything. You know, so yeah, I think creativity definitely, understanding it and exploring it, opened me up to my own spirituality and, you know, higher self or purpose, you know.
Yes, that's beautiful. And I think when we're in that flow of creation, it's not just mental, it is very spiritual because we're in the flow of spirit, because that's really what God is, whatever you guys want to call God. It's pure creative potential manifesting
Mhm,
itself
mhm,
into multiple kinds of realities, right?
yeah,
And so when you're in your creative flow, it would be similar to like also even athletes as well too. Like you're in that flow. That's what we call the power and mediumship, right?
mhm, mhm.
You're connected with the
Sure,
all of you, which is
sure.
super cool
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely, absolutely. And what's cool about that too is like, you know, again, sometimes I think sometimes it takes this. There's a lot of really young people who I know who are really wise, right? But for me, it was getting older and experience and being able to look back and like the idea of channeling, right? Like, let's just, someone says that someone talks about channeling today and they're thinking about maybe something like Bashar or somebody who is channeling an entity. Like trans channel is more, I think, of what people think immediately when you say
right.
channeling, right? But channeling is just, it's the channeling to me is the same as tarot reading or psychic reading or any connection to energy, and interpreting it,
Mhm.
that energy is channeling, right? And letting that energy flow through you is channeling, right? So
Absolutely.
where I'm going with that is, it took me until I was 40 to realize that when I was 21 years old playing music in a band in the basement with my best friends, I was channeling.
You were totally
You
channeling.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
knowing what that is at 40 and remembering back to what it felt like, I was like, wow, that's some powerful stuff.
That's super powerful. That is beautiful. Kim
Yeah.
Princess says, I thought I was Smurfette.
Nice.
She was the only girl, right? So I can see all of us identify with
She
like
was the only girl, I think.
it's
Yes.
like the superheroes. We had like Wonder Woman and Superwoman, I think. Yeah, there
Yeah.
wasn't as many to choose from. To Alan is saying, I was an artist before my life got detoured on pause. The least few days, I just started getting my creativity back and started writing music again. Feels a bit
Awesome.
like a glimpse of freedom.
Awesome.
That's
Awesome.
wonderful, Alan. So happy for you. That's really
Feels so
beautiful
good
too.
to create and channel and
Yeah.
let it flow through you, you know?
It really does, because we're just really in the flow. We're in the flow of spirit. And just
Mhm.
like you said, music, writing, painting, anything, art, speaking, athletics as well too. Like, it's like when you're in the flow, you're in the flow, and you're connected to the higher part of you too. We always are, but it's like it's a super connection. We'll
Yeah,
just
yeah.
call it
It's
a
a,
super
it's
connection.
a specific
Reiki.
type of moment,
Yeah.
of that connection,
Yeah.
a specific expression of it,
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. And
yeah,
healing, of course. So we
yeah.
got Reiki just mentioned by Naomi. So all forms of healing are also, we're channeling the healing energy. So
Yeah,
well
yeah.
done. You were going to share some of what you have channeled with all of us too. Hey, Heidi, good to see you. And
What's up, Jennifer?
do you want to
Oh,
go
Jennifer,
ahead
what's up,
and
Heidi? What's that?
do you, she had problems with her phone, but I'm glad you made it, girl. Too. Do you want to share with us some of what some of the works that
Yeah,
you've
I started to try to gather some photos and kind of show a little bit about who I am and my journey. And it's interesting because I came across, let me see if I could do this in any sort of order, and bear with us, guys, because I'm managing this from the side here. Let's see. I've got this folder, and so I went to Hartford Art School, and the first thing I realized when I went to art school, and I went to art school because I like to doodle, I would draw a lot, right? And I thought I was really good at it, and I was like, oh, let me try art school, because let me back up actually. So first I went to school for computer science, because back when I went to college, they didn't have very specific programs. It was just one thing, computer science. And I was thrown into college, and they were trying to teach me assembly language, Fortran, Cobalt. Now, these are old school computer languages, and it was overwhelming. And I mean, I was used to basic language, and I had done some things, but it was just a little bit more than I was ready for at the time. Now, I still had the interest in technology and computers, but I backed away from that. And then the next year, I said, you know what? Let me try art school, because that's what I always like to do. And when I got to art school, I was surrounded by people who really made art their life. You know what I mean? People who were really, really good. I thought I could draw. And there were people around me who I was like, oh, that guy can draw. I need some practice. But the experience of art school really opened up my eyes to what art is, and that art wasn't just drawing. You know what I mean? There were other things, and that's what kind of led me over to photography. That's where I started photography. So the first thing I wanted to share was one of the first things that I did when I was in college. Oh, I lost it for a second. Let me go back here. And where is it? I've got a list of a bunch of things. Here we go. So we made a pinhole camera out of just a box, and we put a piece of photographic paper in the box, and then the pin in the hole in the box, and covered it with tape. And we brought it outside, and the instructor was like, all right, now you lift it up, and that's like the shutter, you lift up the little piece of tape to expose the camera. I don't think it's letting me. I think you've got to share it. I don't have admin control.
There we go.
So
Okay.
that was just a cardboard box, and this was actually the piece of photo paper in it that exposed it. And then we closed it up, and then we brought it back inside, and we went through the darkroom process, which was the old school process of putting it in a bath of chemicals and then watching this image appear on the paper. It was a magical experience, and it got me into photography. I don't think I can just switch this. Let me remove that. Maybe a better way to do this is, let me open up a browser window and just kind of dump images into the browser window as I'm talking about them. Bear with me. Like I said, I don't think we really kind of planned this, but photography was something that really, I think, allowed me to express myself without feeling outcompeted, by people who could draw better than me.
Right.
So I started getting interested in photography, and I was pretty good at it. Let's see if this will work.
KB is asking what year that was that you did that.
I went to oh, now you really want to date me. uh, I went to college. I graduated high school in '84. I went to Geneseo for computer science in '85, and then I took a year off '86. So probably '87 was when I went to Hartford Art School.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
And you know, I guess I had a little bit of a knack for it. Let me see if this works. If I share this window, and then I can probably Chrome.
Tim was saying he did that with a soda can too. The same thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a great. It's just a great introduction to, you know, photography and how it works.
Yeah,
Okay, so if you could share the screen, I think now I can just swap out images on that screen. So this is just a picture from a wedding, right? So you started taking pictures
beautiful.
at events and friends, and it was just, you know, a simple picture at a wedding. I think I have some more of that, like just early stuff, which is just basic photography, right? But that's what got me interested in the camera. And then let me see if there's another one or two of those before I move on. I thought I had another one. I don't see it. Oh yeah, here's another event. So that I think part of being a photographer allowed me to then be at a lot of different places and get invited to events and meet a lot of different people and see a lot of different things. So this is a coffin race in one of the towns here on Long Island where people would dress up as a team, and this was Team Beetlejuice. They're coming across the finish line here first in this coffin race. But it was just, I loved taking pictures. I loved the camera. And then I think as I started to say, okay, what can I do with this? How can I use this more artistically than just, you know, taking pictures of people? I started to, actually, before I go to that, again, it was just a matter of combining my situation with the love for photography and I think also, and I didn't realize this until I started trying to put this together and tell the story of who I am, was my ability to connect with people no matter who they were, right? So I started working at a tattoo shop doing graphic design. I'm not a tattoo artist. I don't actually have any tattoos. I love tattoos. I love the art of tattoos. But I was like an art director there. I was doing the graphics for the tattoo conventions and for the ads and things like that. But that gave me the opportunity to meet this guy, who goes by the name of Crazy Face. Now, Crazy Face was tattooed, like you could see, almost his whole body. It was mostly his upper body, but getting to meet this guy and talk to him about his story, right? His father was a preacher. He had experienced some crazy things. He had come across a bunch of guys like attacking a woman, and he defended the woman, and it turned out bad for him. He ended up in jail. And I think when he was in jail was when he decided to kind of do this, right? And not to get too much into his story, but just the idea of him sharing his story and how comfortable I felt in the relationship with this guy who was completely different from me. You know, really, I guess it made me comfortable, you know, with who I am, right? And what I have to offer to people, you know what I mean? And my presence. And here's just another shot of him.
Wow.
You know, just really, really amazing opportunities for me to, on so many levels, right? To meet the people, to experience this thing, and then to create images that I look at and I'm just like, whoa, I did that. You know, like that's just something really, really cool, I think. So over the years, and I'm jumping around a little bit, I started doing more conceptual photography, and 2012 was the year that Nostradamus said the world was going to end. And, you know, I mean, I had heard throughout my life, you know, 2001, the whole, you know, the computer thing, you know, like I had heard the world was going to end a couple of times. We learned about the soul, and yeah, totally. Yeah. So I was intrigued by the idea, and it gave me this idea, and it was kind of a spoof idea, and this was kind of this was like a level up for me, right, of just taking pictures. It was like, all right, I came up with an idea, and my idea was, what's going to happen to those swimwear calendars if the world ends, like Sports Illustrated? And I came up with this concept called the Women of Armageddon. And it was an awesome way for me to empower women and not like really objectify them, right? How normally photography can be very objectifying, but empower women, because so many women were interested in getting photographed and being made up and kind of doing this like cosplay. But the idea was, okay, the world ended, but I still looked good in my makeup. My hair's done, but it's like Mad Max meets Victoria's Secret kind of.
I love
That was the concept.
it.
And it was a lot of fun. But what was amazing about this project was how it came to life by itself, right? By just putting the idea out there, and the friends who approached me and said, I want to be in this, right? Or friends I had who built props. There were people who built some amazing props. Here's another image from that project. More like Tank Girl kind of thing. And there was some Photoshop and stuff involved in this, of course, and that was actually the idea of the style. But
she looks a little steampunk there.
A little steampunk. It was a combination. Yeah, it was a combination of a lot of different things.
Love it.
This is like old frontier photo, right? Of an old frontier photo of a woman on the frontier, but it's like some sort of UFO crashed in the background or something, or who knows, and it was just a great creative project for me in so many ways. And then I think the biggest thing about it was, well, there was two big things. It was like validation all along the way, was getting the box of calendars at my doorstep and opening this box of calendars that had all of these images in it and this idea that I had put together. I was literally holding in my hand the idea that people tell you your whole life is you can do whatever you put your mind to. I was holding that in my hand, like physically, that idea that was up until that moment very abstract. I never really understood it until I held it in my hands, and I was like, holy shit, look what I did. And it wasn't just me. It was a group effort. It was a collaborative effort. So again, on many levels, this was teaching me about how we are all one and how it all works, how the connections work, even in collaboration on creative projects. And then this project gave me the opportunity. There were two girls in one of the calendars that were in a band. And this band had this idea of going to Comic-Con, which was really huge back in the 2012, 2013, 2014. It's still pretty huge now. It actually got much bigger after that. But this band, Blue Movie, who I had done some photos for, and allowed me to kind of come up with this comic book kind of style of presenting a band. I came up with this idea of the band has an origin story, right? And like making up this kind of backstory to the band. And this particular band, Blue Movie, the lead singer was kind of like the devil, and he got everybody involved in a card game, and he got their souls, and that's how he created the band. And it was just a lot of fun to be able to work with these different people, and the creativity that was, really just a combination of everybody involved, was brilliant, and it was again something that I'm grateful for having been a part of, and being able to work on. So this band came up with this amazing idea of, well, if we're in a comic book, that's a reason for us to be at Comic-Con. And Comic-Con is a great place to get exposure. So they just wanted to get exposure, and they had this. It wasn't this comic book; it was another actual artist who drew a comic book about them, and they had a booth at Comic-Con. And so they said, "Do you want to split the booth with us?" And I was like, "Whoa, what do you mean?" And they're like, "Well, you can have, since two of the girls are in the calendar, let them dress up as their characters." And we went to Comic-Con, and it was amazing. People were like, "What is this?" They were treating us like celebrities. They were asking us for our autographs, and like the girls were like signing calendars, and it was just such a amazing experience. And then this guy, some people might recognize this guy. This is a guy from the show Oz. He came by and he really loved what we were doing, so he took a picture with us. But again, just what an amazing opportunity that just a creative idea that I had brought me through this whole process and through these experiences, right, and kind of grew into its own thing. I think, again, I look back on this, collecting all of this stuff, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to tell this story? There's so much to it, but again, I'm just grateful. I've been allowed to express myself through my photography, through my art. You know what I mean? There's certainly work that I have to do. At times I've got to, do some production and stuff. But even that has brought me an amazing path. I produce. I don't know if your audience knows Jackie the Joke Man Martling. He's a comedian out here on Long Island. He was really big. He was a part of Howard Stern's group of people. He was one of the writers on the show. He was actually a big part of that. And I was a fan because he was local to Long Island. And for the last 4 or 5 years, we've been doing Stand Up Memories, which is his podcast. And he gets other comedians on, and they talk about, doing comedy in the 80s and the 90s and all of the different stories. And, again, just amazing opportunities just by being me, you know what I mean? And that, I think, is what brought me to, I'm just going to stop sharing this for a moment. That's what brought me to, there's more images I want to share, but that's what brought me to the recent project that I'm working on, the You Are the Answer, the book, You Are the
Yes.
Answer, right? Because it's like you were saying, and I was saying about the conversation, it's, some of the things are so simple, but there's so much distraction in the world, right? And there's so much stuff that pulls you away from the simplest things, like breathe, breathe in and out and focus on your breath. Like, how simple is that? But when you do it and you actually connect with why you're doing it, right? And you feel that physiological, like, moment of like, holy shit, I just connected with something, you know what I mean? Something inside, and it feels amazing.
It really does.
The breath is definitely, like, it's just like the key to the soul, right? Of life. But I guess what I was saying was just understanding the simple things about life and who you are, right? You are the answer. Like, don't look too hard, just feel, right? Feel the things that feel right, that make you happy. When I talked about playing music in my 20s, that made me so happy. I was in the basement 5-6 nights a week with my friends, just, for a couple hours, just playing music, making a lot of noise most of the time, but it was connecting with 3 other souls, you know what I mean? It was channeling. It was really, amazing at the time, but even more amazing to look back on and be grateful and be like, wow, you were always connected, you always had it.
Exactly.
You just didn't know,
Exactly. That's the Dorothy and the red sparkle shoes, right? The ruby red shoes too. And I love what you said too, because we're also connecting this to frequency and creation and divine and spirituality too. Love what you said about, and you can do whatever you set your mind to, right?
Mhm.
And then what popped in my head is, because my motto lately has been, I can do hard things. I can do hard things. So when, like, I get, pressured and I have to do something hard, like in my workouts, I'm like, I can do hard things. Even though I'm like dying, I can do hard things.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But it shows us like what we're capable of. Like, and I don't think we always give ourselves credit of like what we are capable of too. And it just feels like the whole world is, could be caving in on us or against us, right? But when you get into the frequency of creation, the divine creative flow, realizing and then seeing what your inner Eric Clapton, love that, Arnie, seeing what your potential is and what you can do with your mind, your heart, your spirit, right? And then
totally.
like you get to see like what like you've helped manifest. So very, very cool, Michael.
Mm,
Thank you.
totally. Yeah. and
Yeah.
and I and I'm always super inspired by watching other people figure out their own creativity, right? There's in this last 10-15 years, of YouTube, just seeing things that I never saw before, that people are doing, that they kind of come up with these ideas. Like, a lot of the, like, spin art and flow art stuff got really popular in the last couple of years because there's some really beautiful stuff, but seeing all the different techniques that people are like, oh, what if I take a garden rake and I do this, and like they're just like everybody's adding their own little creativity into it, and I love it. I see it
Yeah.
expanding. You know what I mean?
I have a friend who did like art with potatoes. Like literally, she dipped it in the paint, and you know what I mean. And she made really cool stuff. So you can do art with anything. It's super cool. And um, Arnie's making me think about that movie Phenomenon with John Travolta. I don't know if you ever
Oh,
saw that back in the day. Because Eric Clapton had that song "Change the World" from that movie. I can be the sunlight in your universe. Oh, so cool. That was a great movie.
I gotta watch that again. I just recently saw a little snippet of that movie, and it was just so brilliant. John Travolta, like I
So
know a lot
good.
of people make fun of him, but such a
It
brilliant
was so
actor.
good.
And the
Yeah.
conversation was, like he was like a savant, and he like knew things, right? So the guy was challenging him, like, if I told you this guy died in 1980, how old would he be? And he's like, well, that depends, right? And he just starts bringing up all these, if he lived on this side of the planet, or that side of the planet, or was it in the
Right.
morning, or when did he die? And it's just, yeah, that's, I got to watch that again, because you
Yeah, it
mentioned
was
it, because I saw a
it's
clip
really
of it and I
good.
was like, I might want to watch it again, but
I know, right? There's
there's a
probably
reason
something
you
in there
mentioned
for
it.
you.
Yeah.
I know, right? There's something in there for you too. Yeah,
Yeah.
because all of a sudden he becomes a genius, and of course they figure out why, but I mean it was amazing what he created with his genius. Yeah, right.
Mhm.
Which is beyond what most of our brains are like, actually activated for
Mhm.
too, and beautiful love story as well too.
Yeah.
So yeah, great movie. If you guys want to catch that over, it's got to be somewhere Amazon Prime or Netflix or something.
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
worth purchasing even, I think, or renting. So
Yeah.
awesome. Okay. Well, back to you. You had some more photos that you wanted to share, or did
Oh,
you want to
yeah,
take it
yeah,
a different
sure.
direction?
Yep, for
Yeah.
sure. Hold on, let me open up another window. I closed
I
that
also want to
one.
give some love. There was a couple people in the comments. They were talking about homelessness too, and I just want to give you guys some love and let you know I see you, I hear you, and a lot of people in the chat were giving love and support. So, sending lots of love and hope that your circumstances improve very soon. So there we go.
Yes, always. And I love, I think I mentioned on my show the other day, I was watching Donna Bond, and I love how she takes a
Yeah.
moment to really kind of allow everybody to focus their attention on a specific person or a
Yeah.
situation that they want attention to, because there is a lot of power in that. So
It
yes, thank
does.
you
It
guys
helps a
for
lot.
it.
We
Definitely
really support each other so much in these programs. So we're very blessed.
amazing.
Sacred Spirals turn into a big love fest community.
It was great, but
Yeah,
I can't imagine any other kind of fest I would prefer. All right, so if you could share
exactly.
this.
All right.
So this is another example
Ah,
of, it's interesting as a male photographer, right? To kind of this fine line balance of how do you not be a creep, right? Especially if you enjoy taking pictures of women. I'm a big fan of the divine feminine, and there is no objectification in that love that I have, but as a photographer, there's objectification just by default, right? I think because you're taking a picture of a subject, right? But if you think back to the Greek statues and things like that, that's nudity and all of that, that was all art. So at the time there was something going on, I think it was called Suicide Girls, or like there was a trendy thing where the girls was like GRRLS, right? It was an internet thing, and it was like, it was websites where they were like doing a lot of boudoir shots, or maybe they were like more sexual, but like fetish or whatever. But
hmm
I really wanted to separate myself as a photographer from that. I wanted it to be clear, what where my stance was. And so I came up with this. I love play on words. And so I came up with this idea called dirty girls. Right now, that could also sound very kind of sexual or objectifying, and it was DRRTY and the idea was exactly what you see. It's not like dirty, but she's dirty. She's got the grease on her from the motorcycle. And it was like, so the idea was a bunch of images like this, like I was going to do a girl in a horse stable cleaning up the horse stable, but like, this is like a pin-uppy, it was a very pin-uppy kind of feel, right? Like a 50s or 60s
Yeah.
pin-uppy feel. But this image, I gotta say was like the first time I had imagined something in my head, and the image that came out in the end was like not exact, but even better. Like it was exact, but it was even better than I had imagined it. And it was just, for me, it holds a lot of energy. There's a lot being said about women here, and photography, and there's just so many layers. I find after I produce something, then I look back, I'm like, whoa, this means this and this means this, and it's like maybe subconsciously, these kind of meanings that have been put into it. But that was an example of, again, kind of like manifesting exactly what I wanted. I have a couple of other things here. I was, again, just through different opportunities, thrown in with different people. So there was a big Halloween community, like in the calendar, a bunch of people who do the haunts in the Halloween. They dress up, they like to dress up as and scare people. They were into dressing up and being in the calendar, but this one makeup guy had this character that he had created, called the Carver, and this was a shot from that. He'd asked me to document it and kind of create a movie kind of feel to that photo shoot. But I think what was cool about this, looking back on this, is dark energy, right? The idea of dark energy and the idea of evil things and bad and negative things. Like, I always was able to embrace that on a level of acceptance, right? Not judgment, and not like, oh, and not a level of, ooh, I'm going to get into that, right? Like, I like the idea of, chasing after a woman and killing her and all that. No, it was just a purely artistic, it was a purely like non-judgmental view of it. And again, it wasn't until later that I was like, ooh, that's a little low vibration, right? But even recognizing that aspect of it, I think it's an important thing that we recognize that dark and light are not separate, and
Yeah, they exist in this reality.
you need to embrace. So this actually
Yeah.
made me feel better about it, because I was like, oh, I never really embraced the dark, but I was like, oh, I do embrace the dark. I do accept it, and I make my relationship with it comfortable, right? It becomes a subject of my
Right.
artwork instead of something to fear. It becomes something that I'm working with. So I thought that, again, looking back at all of these things and trying to come up with some sort of coherence for it, I was able to see a lot of stuff. I also was very fortunate, through being a musician. I was able to not only like take the pictures of that band and come up with that idea, but let me see if I have something here. I was able to take a lot of pictures of bands. This is Papa Roach, and this made it onto a little local magazine cover, which was a kind of fun experience. A local, again, 9 Days was a local band from Long Island. I don't know if you remember. This is the story of a girl who
Yeah,
loved
yeah.
the whole world. This is
Yeah,
9
yeah.
Days, who I became friends with. I got a lot of cool friendships out of these experiences. Oh, I found these. Again, another. It's all circumstantial, right? It's all the universe kind of like putting you in the right place at the right time. And this one girl that was a friend of mine that I had shot once or twice with, she's like, ooh, I have an idea. I have this diner that looks like a 50s diner, and I want to do some pinup style stuff. And man, I couldn't have
Oh, I
asked
love
for a
it.
better set, a better place to take pictures. Like, I wouldn't have found that myself. She found this, and she was able to set this up. And again, it was a collaborative energy of us just coming together. I'm thinking Greece, Sandra D. This is what I think when I look at this picture. But again, another just opportunity to do cool stuff. I think this is that's a picture of Dee Snider in concert. That was another fun concert stuff. So photography was not just a like regular, documentary art form. For me, it was also expressive. I was able to do some stuff. And then I guess the last kind of stuff I have to share, the latest stuff and the most recent stuff, is I saw an artist working with a projector. And what I mean by that is that they took a projector and they were shining images and patterns onto a model and shooting the model.
Ooh.
And so this was the result of that experiment, one of the earlier experiments, which I really loved the way this looked. And it, I don't know if you can see, or maybe, yeah. So even like you can see like the pixels of the projector. I love the way that it like followed the contour of her face. You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
there was so much happening here visually for me that I just explored this for a while. Let me see if I had some. And then I started to do couples. So this is actually, I'm going forward a little too ahead. Hold on a second. Gina, this is one of a couple. So, using, nice sacred geometry, imagery and colors and stuff like that. Yes, Evelyn, I'm going to get to that stuff in just a minute. But this is where that came from, right? Using the projector as a light source, as an integral part of the image that I was creating. The projector became a very important part of it. Oh, can I move this image around? Here we go. And this was just, I mean, what a great image of a couple to have, in their house and original. Like I don't see a lot of stuff like this. But what Evelyn is talking about is the human dollars, which was a really great experience for me. Again, all of this channeling energy happening, right? So I was doing this stuff with the projector. I had an assistant working for me who was like a beautiful young 18-year-old girl. And one day I was like, oh, let's do some photos. And I took the projector and I did this photo with her, which was kind of one of my favorite of these projector photos. Let's see. Oh, too close. So again, you can see like amazing how like, the pixels of the projector and everything play such a part of this image. It's just so amazing. And something about this particular image, this is where it started, the human dollars. It said something was saying, flip this image around. Where's the second one? Hold on. Here's the second one. So I flipped it back to back, and then I did it even one more time around in a circle, and this was kind of starting to take shape. And I'm like, whoa, this is really, something about it was engaging me, right? I was like, this is really cool. I like this symmetry. I like the three-dimensionality to it. It's something. And I was not really ever a fan of like human dollar art. To me, that was just kind of clip arty, kind of, like, created by Kaleidoscope, not a spirograph, or, it just wasn't super artsy to me. I didn't see it until I started doing this. And then the last one on this series was the final, which became kind of the formula for the human dollars, which is the 8 iterations. So this became the very first like actual official human dollar, because I was like, oh, this looks like a mandala, but it's got this kind of cool like three-dimensionality to it. And there's a human in it. If you look closely, you can start to see, oh my God, it's not just a pattern. There's a human being in it. And that just inspired me to kind of continue on with that concept. And let's see if I've got, So yeah, let me go back to that couples shot. Couples human dollar. Where is that? Oh my goodness. Sorry guys, just bear with me. I know I popped up the image quickly first. Oh, where did that go?
You got a lot of positive response, by the way. Everybody
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just trying.
No, it's all
talk.
good.
I can't wait to go back and see what
I
people
like
think of
the
this stuff.
welder girl. I like that she can, fix a motorcycle and look good in a pair of high heels. I was like, damn, girl.
Yep, there you go. There you go. Oh, okay. Here's the. So this was the first time that I did the projector on a couple, and then made a human dollar out of it. And this kind of just gave me the idea for, like, again, not, it wasn't my intention, like, oh, I've got to go out there and be unique and create something unique. That was just kind of happening, because I feel like this is pretty unique. And then so it hit me to kind of do this as a service for a couple, to create something really original for them, a piece of artwork, that they could have, like, real conversation piece, like, wait, what is that? Oh, that's you guys, you know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
holy moly. And then the amulet was a part of that. I started experimenting with, like, just printing it on a little circle and putting it inside some jewelry and making
Oh,
an
I love
amulet.
that.
And it was like, I don't know, for me, I never really put the marketing behind this that it needs, and it's there and it's ready. But for me, there's a lot of power in this. Like, I feel like this is a unique piece of art that somebody can wear, that has a lot of conversational value and energetic value, right? There's so many layers to it, right? And again, I'm cool with that, because I know that if this is gonna, like, make me millions of dollars, it'll do it when it's supposed to. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be bonus to whatever my life is. And I'm grateful for that too. And the creativity. So part of why I was showing this is because it's not just the creativity of, like, taking a photo, right? It's like, after the fact, what looking at that photo inspired me to do, and to take it further, right? Like with the human dollar girl, like, it was just one image that pushed me to make it into something new, which by the way is called synthesis. That's when I change something from one thing to another. That's called synthesis. A friend of mine coined that term. And then photosynthesis is applying it specifically to photography, and that's my website, and that's my play on words there. And I got just a couple more that I want to share, because I've got my amazing partner Janice, who I did some sacred geometry on. Where is she? Sacred geometry.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much.
I'm so happy for you.
So this was Janice, just in, like, a meditation pose, and I had some sacred geometry type of graphic that I was doing, and that was, like, kind of one of the original images. And then that made an excellent human dollar, because of the patterns of the sacred geometry on her, kind of created this new geometry, which I just, again, I love doing this, and I love, every result isn't like, oh my God, that's amazing, but it's the process, right? The art is the process of the art is doing it. Arnie, yeah, there's no limit to creativity. We are all limitless. And I think being an artist and knowing the process, right, of creating art and doing this as this, what we're looking at, taking that concept and applying it to life, to your every moment, to your essence, to who you are, to like who I am is an art. There's an art to being who I am. And I think that it's not something that I think about as I'm doing, right? I just do it. I just am it. And just to kind of segue back into You Are the Answer, right? That book thing that I started talking about and then segued off of, it's just so simple. It's just
And you have a Facebook page for that too,
I
right?
do. Yeah.
That you guys can all like and follow
Let
his
me find
Facebook
that.
page for the book that
I'm
he's
gonna
creating.
I'm gonna stop sharing this for a minute, and I'm gonna
Okay.
change it to that. But then once it's ready, I'll ask you to save it again. So You Are the Answer was kind of this idea that I came up with. I started doing some writing about some of the thinking that I was doing, and it was really inspired by Douglas Adams, who was one of the writers that I love, and then I decided to feed that into ChatGPT and kind of get its feedback, and it evolved into, hold on, you are the answer. It evolved into this book that I'm writing, and then as I was writing the book, I'm like, well, this can actually live and evolve on Facebook as a living book. It was just kind of something that, a term that came to me, and I just did it. I just posted this Facebook page, and that, again, that I feel like that's a testament to, you create your own reality, right? All I did was I thought of it. I said, I want to do it. And I created this Facebook page. You are the answer. And it's just like, this is this is the cover, a living book. And I know you really were fond of this. So let me read this. Welcome, seeker. You just found something real. You are the answer is not a book. It's a breadcrumb trail back to yourself. If you've ever felt like you're waking up from a life that never quite fit, synchronicities are happening, but nobody's talking about them, you've outgrown old beliefs, but haven't found your new ones quite yet, then this space is for you. Here we explore consciousness, clarity, and the quiet knowing that whispers, there's more than this, and you already know. Each post is a page from the book. Each chapter is a mirror. Each comment is a breadcrumb someone else might need. Follow this page for weekly drop-offs of truth, wonder, and cosmic reminders. Share your thoughts, your stories, and your signs. And if one of these posts hits, tag a friend. Don't hoard the magic. You're not lost. You're just remembering. Welcome home. You are the answer. And I love it. I just feel like it's such a simple philosophy. And it's just the truest. It's just the truest, right? You are the youest you'll ever be. Dr. Seuss, I think, said that.
Right.
So
you all can give his page a follow, and then you can be part of the living book.
Yep. And actually,
It's awesome.
I'm finally posting chapter 11, which is the final chapter. So I will be offering this as a printed book on Amazon. I'll probably offer like a 99-cent like digital copy of it, and then I'll have a hard copy for people who are into
So
collecting cool stuff like that. Yeah, and I'll tell you guys all about it.
Awesome. Oh, I'm so excited.
Me too.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what? It's so true, Jennifer. Like, we create our own reality, and it's not like as simple as, oh, I thought of this should be real now. You have to do it. There's work, and there's a physical aspect to it, but it ain't hard if you just do it, if you just do it.
Yeah. You have to move past our perceived limitations,
Yeah.
so that we can, actually make dreams come into reality. So I love that. Hi, Mark. Good to see you. A lot of new friends have joined us since we went past the top of the hour there too. So that was just so amazing. Like, I'm kind of speechless.
Oh, wow.
Kim
Thank you
Kim
for the
was asking.
opportunity. I hope I did a
Yeah.
good job. I mean,
It's so cool. It was
you
so
know,
cool. I love art. I love creativity. All things music, magical, all of that too. So it was like food for the soul for all of us too. So that was absolutely wonderful. Kim was asking if you do mentoring at all.
interesting you say that. I actually have been thinking about how to do that, right? Because I'm not a traditional healer, right? I don't have traditional methods, but I certainly am connected to therapy and energy and relating to somebody and communication. And I thought about offering one-on-one mentorships, donation based. So like, let's have a meeting, you know what I mean? You tell me about you, we'll feel each other out, and if you feel like there's value, if I feel like there's value, we'll move ahead, and you'll decide what it's worth. And if I decide you're not deciding it's worth enough, I'll let you know. but I feel like I'm really into energy, Jen. You know that,
Yeah.
and energetic exchange. There is certainly energetic exchange in the monetary system, but I feel like I'd love to work outside of that, or somehow work with it in my own way. So yes, if you're looking for a mentorship and you resonate with the way I think, the way I act, and you feel like I have something to offer, get in touch with me by all means. I think that says it all right there, the fact that you just asked. So thank you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I know like you've helped out with a Sacred Spiral Network too. Like the graphic that you just did for Shannon was just amazing. When I
I
saw
can't
that, I
wait.
was like, oh
Yeah,
my God, that's so cool.
I
You
can't
know?
wait till it airs. Yeah, it was
The
a
I
lot of
know
fun.
I haven't gotten to see the intro video. No, like the whimsy of all of that. It
Oh,
was
you
like, and
haven't
I'm,
seen the
that's
video
so
yet? Oh,
no, like
just
I've
wait.
seen the
Oh, you're in
graphic,
for a
but
good
I
one.
know, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
yeah.
cool. So I can't wait. But I know what you guys create, what you and Kelly create together is just fabulous. It's really phenomenal. So we're very grateful for that too. So
Awesome.
like this really is like a space of creation. So we're very lucky,
Totally.
to be in that vibe with all of each other too. So everybody is giving you lots of positive feedback, lots of attention there. Anything else like that you're wanting to share with us that you're like creating for the future, or projects that you're working on now, or anything like that? I just want to make sure we don't leave any stones unturned.
Um,
Evelyn wants to
you know
paint
what?
again.
I am working on something that I'm super duper excited about. I can't really reveal it too much, but I can say this. I can say as a young boy, I used to like love to listen to bands and rock and roll. And again, my journey has allowed me the opportunity to actually work with some of these people that I listened to when I was a kid. I just recently did Zebra is a band that's local. I don't know if you know Zebra. They kind of had some
Mm-mm.
international or national fame, but I just did their 50th anniversary, like graphics and a bunch of background videos for them on tour. They go on tour and the videos are behind them, which is amazing, right? I'm watching a band that I was a kid uh, looking up to playing in front of my own work. It's amazing. Well, there's another band that I loved even more, that I'm working with right now, that is going to announce a 2026 reunion, and I am super duper psyched.
Okay. Talk about a teaser.
I don't think
Uh,
it's been announced yet, so I don't think I'm allowed to really say.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I used to love the Cult. I still do actually, from back in
The
the
Cult?
'80s, and they're coming back. Yeah, and they're
Oh
touring
yeah,
right now. They're going to be in San Diego and LA and everything, but they're going to play some of their older stuff, like because they were Southern Death Cult and Death Cult before that, right? And
yep,
so they're
yep,
going to
yep.
play some of. I heard. I think it was Richard Blade talking about they're going to be playing some of that older stuff from those. I used to have the album collection, but I sold it like a, you
Ah, they have
know.
Love and Electric are both
Yeah. Yeah, I
incredible
know, I
albums.
know.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing band too. So we got start talking about music all of a sudden, but you got me all excited with that one too. What would you suggest for anybody who's here that's watching and listening, that like how could they kind of like amp up their creative potential? Like what could they do to like get started? Because they're like, I want to be like that. I want to be artistic. I want to create. Like I can feel the tingles, bubbling up with
Yeah,
people
yeah,
that are
yeah. No,
watching and
good. It's a
listening
good
right now.
question. It's a good question
Yeah.
because people often don't know, but the truth is, you do know the answer. You do know the answer, and it's just effing do it. You know what I mean? Like it's interesting because you mentioned the Cult, right? And immediately,
Yeah.
for me, there is a connection with the Cult to why I ever even got involved with music, and that is I went to a somebody who a friend I was dating, or I think had some tickets to Billy Idol, and the Cult
Hmm.
was opening up, and it was like floor seats. I had never been in a concert on the floor before. It was like 10th row or something really amazing. And the Cult was opening up, and here I am on the floor of, I think it was Nassau Coliseum, which is a local arena here, and the Cult is coming out, and just the moment that like the lights went down and Ian Astbury came out on stage and the crowd was like, I was, it was 360 for me. I looked around and I saw everything and I'm like, holy, this guy didn't even do anything. He didn't even do anything yet. And so I was immediately drawn to rock and roll and that energy. And I just followed that. I just followed those tingles, like you're saying, follow the tingles. If something excites you, look at why, like look at it further. Like and that doesn't mean you necessarily have to do it, right? Like some things that make you tingle are things that you just want to be a fan of, you know what I mean? But be a fan, you know what I mean? Just do it. Just,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to get started, like we can procrastinate and maybe just do a little bit of have a little dialogue with the inner self of like, why, what are we scared of anything? Or,
Right.
it could be a matter of timing, but it could be like we're a little bit scared to kind of like put ourselves out there and to try something new.
Right. Right.
And that's where like you can do hard things comes in. Like keep
Yeah.
that. They say
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
do anything I put my mind to. I can do hard things and like get that into your consciousness and then it becomes less hard too. So like, but
Totally.
I think it's worth it. But that creative energy it's not just channeled up here and it's not just through the heart, but it's also in this like grounded lower place of our body too. So I think especially for women, men are very much naturally in touch with their lower energy, but women not so much. We're all kind of up here in the heart, and that's why we get a little bit out of our bodies spacey sometimes. So we need to get down there, girls, to get the art flowing.
That's right.
So
That's right.
I
And
hope I didn't sound wrong. Kelly's probably cracking up right now. Sorry.
But it's true. You know what? The first step
Oh my
sometimes
God.
seems like the hardest. You know what I mean? It does. So just take the first step. That would be
Yeah.
my advice. Just do it. Even if you do it in the privacy of your own home, see how it feels. You know what I mean? See what it feels like.
Yeah.
You'll know.
Yeah.
You'll know.
Yeah. I did crack Kelly up. That's all right. That's all right. But that is where a lot of that creative energy of flow is in those first three chakras, like the red, the orange, the yellow, and everything like that. So I'm blushing a little bit. We got to get in touch with that, but that really helps. But like I never did poetry when I was younger. I did have other creative outlets too, but it wasn't until my spiritual awakening that all of a sudden I started channeling poetry too. So it's like you can start anytime. It's never too late to start. Never, never,
A
never.
million percent.
So,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
Maggie. So, okay, we even got more friends joining us. For anybody who has popped in late, we just had a most amazing share of creativity. Michael Zinn was sharing all kinds of his previous artwork that he's done over. So please go back and watch the replay if you've missed it. It was super fabulous, super fascinating. So you
Oh,
don't
thank
want
you.
to miss that at all, too. And thank you all if you have shared, subscribe, follow, tag. We really appreciate it. And we do have another show this afternoon at 2:30 Pacific with Kelly Brickle, the Psychic Hour, and she's interviewing the amazing Donna Bond, who also has a show on the network too. And that's at 10:30 in the UK. And please, you don't want to miss two more great shows tomorrow. Messages from the Enchanted Realms, always a popular one with myself, Shannon Rattay, and Lynn Juno is our guest medium. She will be filling in for Fairy Fran, who's got the day off. And Shannon Rattay will be coming on for a second show for her debut, Guided Life, helping people to connect with their guides and their angels. So you don't want to miss the two of those tomorrow as well.
Great stuff.
I'm going to hand it back over to you, Michael. Any last minute words, thoughts, inspirations that you'd like to share with all of us?
I just want to thank everybody for the amazing love that I see happening in the comments. I if this inspired you, that makes me feel so grateful. I'm nothing special. I'm just like you. I'm just like Jennifer. Like we're all human beings, and it's just a matter of not worrying what the other human beings are thinking about or caring about, and just like Arnie was saying, be authentic. Just know who you are and be that.
Yeah.
I would say it's important, right? For me, it's like if I want the world to be love and I want everyone to be loving, that's why I'm loving. That's why I'm that, because that's what I want to see. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said.
And thank you so much for this opportunity. This is amazing stuff. Kelly, thank you.
I knew we
Everybody.
had to do it because we had you on last time. We were talking all about self-love, and I'm like, we didn't even get all the stuff that you created too. So I'm so happy that we got a second show out of you. So thank you for honoring us with your time and your presence and your heart and your love and your mind. So it's been super fun for everybody here. So we're very, very grateful. So thank you all, everybody, for joining us for this beautiful hour and a half almost that we've gotten to spend in the creative flow, the frequency of creation. Of course, we've been in that this whole time. Much love to everybody. We look forward to seeing you on following shows. And may all of this love, healing, and creative energy that we have manifested and been part of here today be infinitely multiplied and shared across our planet. We do hope that every being in form of consciousness will feel loved, have food and shelter, support, and feel peace, especially our beautiful children. So live well, love you well, and walk with grace, everybody. Thank you so, so, so much. Thank you, Michael. Big shout out to Kelly Brickle, our producer, for taking good care of us. We couldn't do it without you. We love you so, so, so much. Have a beautiful afternoon, evening, and weekend, everybody. And we'll see you next week on Embracing Infinity. I have got Colin Walker coming on, and we are tripping the light. Fantastic. So there we go. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.